Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Big Talk Pigskin. I am your host, Bowden, and today I'm joined by Sam. Sam, how are you doing today?
Well, it's a little bit of a throwback because before we split the show into Pigskin and Hardwood, I was one of the hosts. So it's just coming back for a reunion, I guess.
I guess so. How does it feel to be back talking about some football?
Well, I like being the guest because then I don't have the responsibilities of recording and all that fun stuff and producing, but then also it allows me to flex a little bit on what I know, which that's negligible many times.
Good to hear. All right, I think today we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off first with recapping and looking back at this Illinois Indiana game we had this weekend. Sam, what are your initial thoughts? I mean, that was a 63-10 win for Indiana. I don't think many people expected it to be this big.
Well, let's say it this way. First off, I'm a Purdue fan, so I really I don't dig on the IU banter and love for them, but yet at the same time, this was a statement piece for IU. I last year their biggest knock when they played was that they didn't beat anybody. They got to the playoff by their best game being played against Ohio State, and they lost by 2 scores. This was a top 10 team that according to polls, this is a top 10 team that IU just absolutely dismantled and made look like a JV team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Illinois didn't seem to stand any chance in this game. I mean, QB Fernando Mendoza for Indiana. He was basically perfect. He only had 2 incomplete passes the entire game. He went 21 of
Mm-hmm.
23, had 267 yards and 5 touchdowns, along with no interceptions. He is still perfect this season. Has not thrown an interception yet.
Well, and you look at Kobe Martin for IU, he added in 107 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, when you're talking the quarterback accounts for 5 just throwing, and then you've got a running back that does has 2 on top of that's a lot of scoring. And for a team that like Illinois, who was uh, known for their defense, their stout defense, and to give up 63 points and okay, I'm gonna say this, and it's not because I'm a Purdue fan, but for the likes of IU, don't get me wrong, they've been good. They were a good team last year. They look like they're a good team this year, but still the pedigree and history of what IU has embodied for years upon years, uh for Illinois to basically just lay down and do nothing to stop IU says a little bit more to me about what is wrong with or that Illinois was maybe a little overrated and maybe shouldn't have been in the top 10. But at the same time, IU keeps they keep beating teams that are put in front of them, and are embarrassing these teams. That's the big thing that I take away from that.
Yeah, they have been embarrassing teams. I mean, none of these games this season have really been close at all. Illinois, obviously, we thought, they had been tested with Duke. They had a close first half with Duke a couple weeks ago,
Right.
and you thought that they would take what they learned there into this game, and I guess that just didn't happen. I don't know. I don't know if they game planned incorrectly, or if they just thought they could walk through this game and just beat Indiana. But it just seems like they didn't show up at all, and like you said, Illinois usually has a pretty stout defense, especially Brett Bielema teams usually do, and that just they didn't show up. They weren't there.
Well, and let's not take I the way I kind of stated that was is that this game went the way it was because of Illinois. Let's call it what it is. IU did have a great game plan. They executed their game plan. They produced when Illinois couldn't. So this was an IU win, but to me, it just is a little bit more telling as to what Illinois, completely. It was either way overrated going into this game, or IU is way underrated. And right at this moment, I'd probably say that Illinois is maybe a little bit more overrated. But IU's pretty close to what to being a lot better than what they were thought of.
Yeah, definitely. And I will say I'm one of those people who thought Indiana's going to be good, but they're not going to be what they were last year. And I had a lot of high expectations for Illinois this season. I thought they were going to be a lot better than they were last year. And now it's kind of seeming they're in the same spots. Indiana is the better of the two so far this season, at least. I mean, this head-to-head matchup for sure. And, maybe Indiana's looking to make another playoff appearance.
Well, let's talk about this though. IU still has, they have Oregon in 2 weeks. Don't get me wrong; they've got your Hawkeyes next week at 3:30 in Iowa City. That's going to be that's going to be a difficult one. But we're going with highly rated, okay? Because IU definitely is going to be a top 15, if not maybe even close to the top 10. All right, when the new polls come out, I haven't seen them.
They jumped to 11.
Okay, so they're number 11.
They're number 11, and Illinois dropped to 23.
Okay, so and that, I guess that's pretty telling. They were a little bit more shocked at the meltdown from Illinois than they were the dominance of IU. But still, at the same time, IU put it to them. They've got Oregon in 2 weeks at Oregon, so that's a tough trip. Maryland, who we're going to talk about here in a little while, they're better. They're 4-0 right now, and they're looking pretty darn good themselves at this point. Then after that, they go to Penn State, and then obviously the big game, the final week of the season, they have to go to Purdue, and hey. No,
you never know what'll happen in those rivalries.
You know what? Purdue is a better team this year. I'm not saying that they're going to beat IU, but they are a better team this year. But there is a lot of difficulty on this schedule that IU has sitting in front of them. Will they slip up? I'm positive they will somewhere. And if they don't, then you know what? We totally misconstrued what they were going to be. I didn't think they were going to be a dumpster fire, but I didn't know that I still don't know that they're going to be a top 12 team by the end of the season. But if they are, they're going to have to pull off an upset against number 6 or number 3 right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're definitely going to have to beat Penn State or Oregon.
If they can beat one of those two and run the table with the rest of them to where they've got one loss and it's to an Oregon or a Penn State, they're virtually, in my mind, a lock.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And I mean, as an Iowa fan, I don't think they walk away next week with a win, but that's just my bias there. We can save that for Thursday or for Friday's.
Yeah.
Conversation.
I won't be. I more than likely won't be there for that one. But
I'll save my comments for then.
Personally, I still need more evidence that Iowa's got an offense, and it's just one.
And we saw it this week.
One outburst of 38 points is not telling me that there's an offense constantly there, though. That's the only problem.
That is true.
And that's not damning Iowa. I like Iowa actually most of the time, but it's just they've gotten it took their All-American to go to Purdue to get any recognition on offense, with Chuck Sizzle there when he went to Purdue and played a couple with Farva. He plays on the Raiders now.
Oh,
Aiden O'Connell.
Yes. Yeah.
So he went there to play with Aiden O'Connell, and they had an All-American year. So it takes a little bit of convincing for me to say that Iowa's got an offense.
Yeah.
When the defense outscores the offense more times than you'd like to admit.
Yeah, not as much this year.
No,
they only had one turnover
this year. Yeah.
Surprisingly, that's usually their thing.
Give it time.
It's usually our thing.
Give it time.
Okay, but let's transition on. Let's head over to that close game with Michigan and Nebraska. Michigan ends up winning the game 30-27. Close one. What do you think about that?
I'm still waiting for Nebraska to realize their potential. The last year they came into the season, actually it was one of those seasons that I looked at Nebraska and I thought, you know what, they're going to be an outside. They were going to be Penn State, essentially, is what I felt was. Nebraska was good enough that they were going and had enough in there that they were going to be the third Big Ten team in the playoff, and obviously that didn't come close to happening. First, they went to IU and got demolished there, and then they just couldn't. Played Ohio State tough. They had some games where they should have maybe won and been better record-wise, but they were just still kind of snake-bitten by that close game bug that really, really plagued them when Scott Frost was still there. And, I mean, say what you want about Scott Frost. He had a season and a half where he lost like 9 games by 7 or less points.
Yeah.
He wins all of those instead of loses all of them. And he's got a different, he might still be the coach there, believe it or not. But at the same time, Nebraska is just one of those that you keep waiting. Dylan Raiola is an amazing quarterback. I mean, shoot, in the loss, he was 30 for 41, 308, 3 touchdowns. It just Nebraska in the past 3 seasons seems like they find the most wonderful spots to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, they just find a way to lose by a field goal or a touchdown. They're always competitive, highly competitive, but they just can't get it done at the end of the day in those close games. It's either they dominate in a win or they lose in a close game. And it's just been prevalent, especially since the Scott Frost era, like you said.
Well, and let's call what it is. Michigan's not the greatest team in the world either. They've got struggle points, and people are going to say, well, Sam, but they're 3-1. They beat Nebraska. Their only loss come to Oklahoma still. They haven't done anything. Bryce Underwood looks good, but he looks like a freshman. He looks like he's a freshman trying to man a Michigan offense that it's a little difficult to do. And with the high expectations that he has, he's coming in with a $10 million price tag.
Yeah,
he needs to do better. And they won. They're 3-1. But you know what? Still, they haven't looked dynamite and just like shone so brightly that of course they were going to beat Nebraska. They didn't perform well against Oklahoma. Granted, game 1, a freshman that last year was playing high school and going on to his senior prom. That's the kid that's running the offense. Yeah, he might have a little bit of struggle, but when you have all these great pieces or supposed great pieces around you, that they need to pick him up. And then when he starts to finally getting comfortable in that game, he's able to make some plays maybe, and Michigan should win that game. I'm not saying they should have beaten Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a good team this year. I don't know that they're going to be the best team in the SEC, but they're going to be a competitive team. They're good. But I think that's what Michigan is too. They're not going to be competing for the Big Ten. They're not going to be this dynamite all out, in my mind anyways, team. They're going to be a good team in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And Nebraska couldn't beat them. That's the problem. I love Matt Rule as a coach too. I love what he did at Temple to turn Temple around. Then when he turned around and went to Baylor, turned them around. Went to the NFL, didn't go so well. But
it's
this
not
guy,
for everyone.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. And this guy, and he comes to Nebraska, and he exudes ways of turning it around. And you know what? I believe this is his 3rd year, or is this his 2nd year?
Second, I believe.
Second. You're right. He's got some time in my mind, but at some point, these games have to start turning around for them.
Yeah, he's got to start winning the close games. I mean, especially this one. And I mean, part of the reason they were even in the situation of it being as close as it was is, I mean, right at the end of the first half, Dylan Raiola chucks up a Hail Mary that ends up scoring a touchdown with time expiring. Otherwise, right. They go into halftime down 7 points. Maybe they don't come out with a fire under them and they don't play as hard. They're kind of count themselves out. So maybe that game's completely different if that play doesn't go their way. I don't know. I mean, momentum means a lot.
But if that's the case, shame on Michigan for not stopping that. That's a Hail Mary.
Yeah,
You got to knock
it
that ball down.
It is. I mean, it's like a 4-on-4 situation in the end zone. You just gotta jump in front of them.
Knock it down.
You have to be the first one in line and the last one in line.
Yep. But that's kind of what I'm saying there is people will be like, oh, come on, it happens. I get that, but I mean, when you say one play can sway and maybe make it look completely different, that's true. But if that play, or let's say they block the field goal attempt or they stop that last touchdown that Michigan scored in the oh shoot, where's the box score? There it is. That they scored in the third quarter. We're looking at a Nebraska win instead. It's 27-23. But so literally it's, one play can sway it. They're just not winning it just seems to me that Nebraska in the past 3 years, which includes the last half of Scott Frost and last year and even this year, they're losing games by one play. Like literally one
every
play.
time. And
it's at some point you got to think those odds are going to change. And it's just, I feel for Matt Rule because like I said, I really do like him as a coach. I really do. I think he does things the right way. It seems anyways, let's say it that way. And he always has results. Unfortunately, it's just taken a little bit longer there at Nebraska than it did at Temple and that it did at Baylor. It just, for whatever reason, Nebraska's taken just a little bit longer to kind of get into gear.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely have to agree with that. I want to highlight Michigan's running back, Justice Haynes, just again, for the millionth time this season. Like he is just, he's just looked great all around every game. I mean, even in the Oklahoma game. Yeah. And this past week, he had 149 yards rushing with 3 touchdowns on the ground as well. He's just absolutely impressive.
Did he have 3 touchdowns?
Yep.
Because I've only got 1 on here.
Maybe I read that wrong.
Let me see. I don't think he had 3. Yeah, he just had 1 rushing.
He just had the 1. Yeah. I probably pulled that from the wrong game, but
that's all right.
Anyway,
that's why I just was quiet because I thought my stats were wrong.
He's looked impressive all year.
Oh, for sure.
Looks impressive again this week.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Justice Haynes has been in my thought, which I haven't done a ton of looking at their games, Michigan's, but he's over 100 yards every game. And his lowest one was a game against Central Michigan that they won 63-3. So that means he was taken out of the game in the third quarter.
Probably before that, honestly.
Well, I mean, more than likely he played 1 or 2 series right after the half, and they yanked him. And he had 104. He averaged 7.4 yards that game. He had 3 touchdowns against New Mexico. But like he is over 100. If you take that 104, his low is 125, and that's against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So I think right now he's the reason why they're being not as dominant, but as successful as they have been. And it's not taking anything away from Bryce Underwood. But Haynes has been the reason why they're being as productive in my mind as what they have been, because when you have a strong running game, that makes a lot. And I just saw the Hail Mary at the half on the little highlight there. He's the reason why you're winning ball games. That he's not the only reason why, but he's a reason why you're winning ball games, because he's able to put a good running game into play, and your passing game comes from that.
Yeah, and I was going to say basically the same thing. Like, it's really good for a freshman quarterback in Bryce Underwood to have a running back like that and their O-line where they're able to dominate in the run game, and it makes him just get more comfortable game by game, which is going to give them the availability to finally open it up and pass a little bit more. And I mean, and even Bryce, he's good on the ground too.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, that's
can
one of
run.
that's one of his attributes. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's got a good arm. He knows, he's a decent passer. He's a good passer. But you know what? All in all, he's a really, really effective running quarterback as well. When you've got that threat for him to drop plant that back step and just get on the run, yeah, that's an added attribute that you don't have with a pocket passer. Is there's always a threat to run the ball
Right.
from that quarterback. He doesn't see what he needs or what he wants downfield, so he tucks and gets 5. He tucks and gets 12. Oh my goodness, he tucks and gets 35 and scores a touchdown.
Right.
Those threats are always make your passing game better too.
Definitely. It's huge. Him being able to do that's absolutely huge for them. Yeah. I mean, Michigan, I think next year they're going to be really good. I think I've said this a million times so far. I think next year they're going to be a really great team. This year, maybe 8-ish, 9 wins. But next year, I can foresee them being an 11, 12 game win season.
It's a possibility. Maybe they supersede and kick Penn State out of the spot they've been in the past couple of years and just make that, they make it. And you know what? Michigan could turn out to be 11-1 this year. They go undefeated the rest of the way. Will they?
I mean, probably not. I mean, everybody was counting them out against Ohio State last year when they weren't that great of a school or that great of a squad last year. And I mean, they're better than they were last year. So maybe they get it done there.
But they've got USC. They have a relatively easy schedule if you want to go that far going forward. They've got USC at USC in 2 weeks. They go to host Wisconsin at USC. Then they host Washington, which last year Washington beat them. Just saying. Michigan State, they're better than what they were last year, and Definitely. They weren't horrible last year.
Definitely.
They were a dumpster fire 2 years ago. But and I'm not ever going to hold back and say there's no chance Michigan State wins that game. Do I think they will? I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd have to wait a couple of weeks, after the USC game, maybe, and whoever Michigan State plays that week, maybe I can give them a little bit better of an assessment. But Michigan State always plays Michigan tough usually. You remember a few years back, they were the ones that won the game on a muffed punt by Michigan. Michigan muffed the punt, and Michigan State scooped it up and scored on the final play of the game to win the game.
I do remember that.
Michigan State plays Michigan tough. I don't foresee Purdue unless Purdue is going to improve week in and week out from their performance this last week. They've got a lot of work to do on their defense. I don't foresee Michigan. Michigan, I guess Maryland and Ohio State the last 2 weeks of the season. I guess those are the toughest. I guess USC, they've got 3 really, really hard games in my mind, I guess, the rest of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're all winnable games. They all are.
Yeah. Whenever you have a rivalry like Ohio State, Michigan, or, whatever your school A is and, your rival school, you throw the cliche of throw the records out the window. It's absolutely true, but at the same time, you don't foresee. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that one yet.
Not yet.
We're still 2 months away. Let's hold up on that.
Okay. And let's go ahead. We'll transition over onto Michigan State at USC. I think Michigan State actually looked pretty impressive for this game. I mean, they were facing off against the number 1 offense in the country in USC. And they did give up 45 points, but Michigan State kept it close. They answered. They put up 31 themselves. It was a 2-touchdown game.
They only lost by 2 touchdowns.
I expect them to lose by a lot more than that. So,
yeah. Well, and with I don't know, with Michigan State, it's awful difficult with them because they're a better team. They're 3-1, but the problem with that is their schedule leading up to it. They didn't play big name teams, but neither did SC. So 6 and 1/2 dozen the other, I guess, maybe on that one. But the one thing that I always got to take into consideration is Aiden Childs for Michigan State he's a sophomore. It's his, I believe he's a sophomore, and he's 19 years old.
Is he only a sophomore?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
And if he's not, he's just 20 years old. Let me. Did I lose a year? I'm
positive. I think he was 1 year at Oregon State. Because I think he transferred with.
No, this does say he's a junior. You're right.
Came with the coach. But
I thought he
sat behind. He might have redshirted it. I know he sat behind DJ Uyunglele at his Oregon State year.
Right. So yeah, I mean, he's a junior, but he's a really young kid. And maybe he just turned 20, but like he started this calendar year with Michigan State as a teenager. That's yes. Okay. He's a junior, let's say, even if he's not a redshirt and he's a redshirt sophomore. He's been in school for 3 years, but he hasn't led an offense except for last year. So he's getting markedly better. He made a lot of silly mistakes last year. And it was because of his just being young and not having that experience, I guess, the best way to put it. But he threw for 212 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's not a bad. I mean, you can't say necessarily that he's the reason why they lost this game offensively, that they didn't produce. Now, he was only 57.1% on his completions, but at the same time, he had a pretty high rating, and that's the big thing is he wasn't making mistakes. Even if he was throwing incompletions, he wasn't making mistakes.
Right. And that USC defense is strong.
Oh, for sure.
I'm surprised they allowed 31 points in this game. So
which feels so wrong because USC has been
offense.
USC's been such a dumpster fire when it comes to defense. Mm-hmm. They're like the antithesis of what Iowa is. You put SC and Iowa together and you've got a juggernaut because you've got one of the best defenses with one of the best offenses. But at the same time, this year they've had a better defense. But to give up 31 points to somebody like an Aiden Childs, that's not a led offense. That's not necessarily a horrible day's work.
No,
your defense should be able to give up some points once in a while and still have the capability of winning by 2 touchdowns. So that's one of those that, well, the defense is so great, they gave up 31. You know what? Even the best defenses ever gave up some points. It's not a matter of giving up points. It's a matter of giving up just enough points to not lose. Defensively. You got to hope your offense can put points on the board. That's where Iowa comes at the deficiency because they can't rely on their offense all the time.
No, they cannot. Sadly.
My point being here, though, is SC is better at defense this year than what they had been in the past few years. Lincoln Riley, not known for his defenses,
not at all.
But they are a little bit better to where they can give up a 31 spot defensively and not have it be 48. A couple years ago that might have been 48, 45 Michigan State wins.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because
even last year.
Stop anything. Yeah, even last year it could have been. Yeah. So these two teams are both really flawed teams. They're both capable of beating teams, and then they're very capable of shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
17 times from Tuesday.
I see them both as like very almost mirror images of each other.
7-5, somewhere in there. 8-4, 7-5.
Possibility of 9-3.
Yeah,
could happen.
If one of them if they get hot.
I see that more with USC than I do Michigan State.
Me too. Me too. That SC's got more, I guess, more horses than the Spartans. Which, can we talk about the fact that this needs to be a trophy game year in and year out?
I was thinking
every stinking season.
I was thinking
they need the Trojan horse trophy and make the Spartans and the Trojans a rivalry game that plays every year, no matter what. And because This is this is literally like a historical novel
Yeah.
game. The
We had the
Spartans
Battle of
and the
Greece.
Trojans. Yeah, I mean, come on. So you got to have the Trojan horse as the trophy. I saw. I don't remember who it was that I saw posted it on X, and they said if this doesn't become a thing, this merger for USC joining the conference was for nothing.
Basically,
And you
pretty
know
much.
what? In the grand scheme of things, we saw this with USC, but come on, you know the rivalries. And Bowden, I'm older than you, so it does the Rose Bowl doesn't hold the same
No.
meaning to you than it does to me,
Right.
and
Right. I've
because
heard. Trust me, I've heard a lot.
growing up, it was. You never got to see the Big Ten play a Pac-10 team. Never, just never really happened, except for bowl season, obviously. But there weren't a ton of bowl games
no,
either.
it was the
You know,
big
your
bowl games and a couple other.
if you won 6 games, you had to win. At the time that I was growing up, and this will show my age, they only had 11 regular season games. You had to be 6-5, or you weren't eligible. There were years that teams would go 6-5 and not make it to a bowl. Shoot, now you can go 6-6, and you're going bowling.
Well, I even remember a couple years where there was
COVID year there was a 5-7 teams. Rutgers
Yeah.
was a 5-7 bowl team. But my point on the Rose Bowl is, that was kind of the Big Ten Pac-10 championship game. Like it was.
Right.
Like you got to see Michigan State. I got to see Michigan State play USC on New Year's Day. Most of the time, it was Ohio State or Michigan playing either USC or Washington when I was growing up. But you got Arizona State in there playing. But these were just the meaning of going to the Rose Bowl was huge. Even when I was in college, Purdue went to the Rose Bowl and played Washington in the Rose Bowl in the 2001 Rose Bowl, I believe it was. So 25 years ago.
Is that right before Drew Brees?
No, that was Drew Brees' senior year.
I knew that's right around that time.
They won the Big Ten and went to the Rose Bowl, and they lost. They lost by 10 points. But you know what? It was amazing to see my team in the Rose Bowl. That was 25 years ago. And the Rose Bowl, they had the BCS at that point, so the Rose Bowl hadn't got sucked into the CFP. Right. Now you have Alabama playing, Michigan, which would never be a matchup before. Last year it was Oregon and Ohio State, but it was two Big Ten teams technically. So I mean, it just it's lost a little bit of that hugeness, but that's what Michigan State USC should be right now. Though I can remember those games. Let's make this a rivalry game.
Right.
I'm all for it.
Definitely.
Sorry for the tangent.
No, I agree. I was sitting there watching that game, at what, 12 o'clock at night? Like,
it was 12:30. I was sitting there falling asleep.
Yeah, I couldn't stay up and watch that second half. I needed to go. I had to go to sleep. Had a long weekend, but I was sitting there. I'm just like, how is this not a trophy game?
Yeah.
Like, how do we have a complete manufactured trophy game between Iowa and Nebraska when they joined, and the Heroes Trophy means nothing. I hate Nebraska, but it's just a random trophy they just gave to us when they joined the conference. But we're not doing it with this one it means more. It's called the Heroes Trophy. It's the Heroes game. I don't know why.
You have no explanation?
I have no idea. I've never looked it up, surprisingly. But it makes no sense. I have
there's
zero
your homework
clue.
for next week.
Yeah. I have zero clue as to why we call it that. I mean, I know why our Iowa versus Minnesota is the Floyd of Rosedale Trophy. They used to actually pass a pig back and forth in Rosedale, which is like right on the border.
Yeah. So there's a meaning to it.
There's a meaning.
I mean, the old Oaken bucket, that was, I don't remember the actual bucket part, but they started putting links on the chain with the whoever won the game, they got the link of the chain in there with their letter. So that's the count. So it wraps around this bucket. And I honestly, I don't know the story, which I feel like a failure of a Boilermaker fan to not know the old Oaken bucket story. But I'm more of a pretty basketball guy though. So
Yeah.
but my point, it just you've got to have this.
This has to be a trophy.
You could manufacture this trophy and it would look amazing. Just make it a big fake,
Yes.
make it out of wood.
Oh,
On a gold base or something, or
better.
something, and have every year's winner, etched on it. But make this a year in and year out. Michigan State and USC every year.
I agree. Completely 100%.
Big talk stamp on it. Boom. Oh.
All right, let's go over to Maryland, Wisconsin real quick just to wrap up some of these games from this weekend. Yeah, just a little bit.
Honestly, I don't really think, personally, there's not a ton I need to talk about on this one except for two things. Is Maryland better than we thought? And how long before Luke Fickell comes out?
Yeah.
Those are the two things I need to know.
I was sitting there last year thinking, Luke Fickell's on a hot seat. Last season, I felt he was on the hot seat.
They didn't go to a bowl game for the first time in like 20 years.
No, and that's not a Wisconsin thing. You don't do that.
And here's the thing, Bowden. I will always err on the side of the coach for the first 3 to 4 years of their tenure.
Yeah, they get time to build their roster.
But they should be ramping up by the year 3, and this is year 3 for Fickell.
And they're not looking much better.
No, they're not. I believe it's year 3, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Because Cincinnati went to the playoffs in 21, 22.
It might have been 22.
22. And so this is year
Alabama.
3. So this would be year 3.
Okay, well, I mean, it just... Yeah, I'm always trying to err on the side of the coach because you know what, you got to give him time, like you said, to develop your program inside of this. But at year 3, you should be trending up, and right now they're not really trending up. In my thought is, am I saying they absolutely should have won this game? Maybe not, but they shouldn't have been down 20-0 at the half either.
No, not at all.
That's not
especially not at home.
That's not Wisconsin.
Not in Camp Randall.
Right.
They never historically they've never let someone come into Camp Randall and just easily run all over them. I mean,
they let Maryland go in and eat their Cheerios, Bowden.
Yeah.
Maryland walked in and said, "These are Cheerios. These,
they're mine now.
We're taking these. These are mine now." Yeah, I mean it just Maryland. I watched the back half of the first quarter and all of the second quarter, and I saw everything I needed to know. I kept kind of an eye on it, and I even texted you guys about it. Like this game, if this holds out, how long is it until we hear Luke Fickell needs to get?
He's got to turn it around. He might be gone before the end of the season if this doesn't change.
And this is kind of the Big Ten's version of Florida right here, because there weren't high expectations necessarily about Wisconsin. Did you expect them to beat Alabama? No. But you probably expected a win over Maryland, and then they've got to go to the Big House and play Michigan. Then they play Iowa, which right now
it's always a tough game.
Coin flip game.
It's always a tough game. It's a rival game.
Right. And then after that, Ohio State. The week after that, you travel to Oregon. Like, Luke Fickell is in some trouble. Then in 2 weeks after Oregon, you got to go to IU. Then you host Illinois. And then, oh, hey, by the way, the end of your season, you play your rival Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough road for them.
And he's sitting at 2-2 right now, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ranked opponents still.
I mean, if he doesn't get a win through the Michigan, Iowa, or the Ohio State game, he's gone, I think. And those are tough games.
Bowden, I don't think he wins a game if he doesn't beat Iowa until they play Washington.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's their only chance, and it's at home for them, so it helps, but does it really help? I mean, they couldn't even beat Maryland at home.
The way they played against Maryland, and Maryland is 4-0. They've played really good football, so
Yeah, not discrediting Maryland.
Yeah, Mike Locksley has got those guys playing. I saw him interviewed in game again. That on Saturday, and he said, we got to score more touchdowns. Obviously you got to score more touchdowns, but they were scoring. They'd scored what? Let's see. What was the box score of that? Let's see, two field goals in the second quarter that easily could have been touchdowns. So had they scored touchdown, and that's what he was getting at is like, look, we've scored 4 times and we've only got 20 points. So we need more points for those scores. And they only scored 1 more touchdown the rest of the game, but it was their defense was playing.
Yeah.
Wisconsin didn't look like they even wanted to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, they just,
and it's awful early in the season to kind of give up, and it just didn't seem like they were ready to play at all.
No, it doesn't. It hasn't this season.
Yeah, and like I said, I always try to stay on the side of the coach, but he's just not at this point. At this point, you got 1, 2, 3 of the next 4 games against highly ranked opponents. Top 20 opponents. Actually, I'm sorry. Let's say Michigan's at 19. Then you have 2 top 6 opponents after that.
Yeah. With just the separation of Iowa.
Yeah. With just and Iowa is a losable game.
Yeah. An easily losable game.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Iowa's well, you'll get your win there. No, it's very losable.
Right.
Is it winnable? Sure. That's probably the one of the next 4 that I would say if they're going to win, they're going to win that one.
And I would agree with that as an Iowa fan.
But I wouldn't say that that's a guarantee either. They easily could lose the next 4 and be going into Washington at 2-6.
They could lose out. They might go 2-10.
Washington isn't as bad as what they have been, or not have been, but because they've been pretty good. But like I've seen some real dreadful Washington teams. They're not the team that went to the national championship game or to the playoff a couple of years ago, but it was a national championship. They played Michigan. Not that team, but a pretty good team, a competitive team, one that beat Michigan last year and probably could again this year. And we're talking about Wisconsin. That's their reprieve game after Oregon and Ohio State.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Those poor guys, Wisconsin, I feel horrible for them.
It doesn't look good for them at all.
Yeah.
At all.
And that poor quarterback, I've got to look his name up because the one that he was the second string quarterback for Wisconsin because their starter got hurt. Where's the pass?
What was it?
Simmons.
Okay, yeah.
Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. Danny O'Neal was the one that just kept getting hammered. Getting hammered, and God bless him. He was just getting handed to him though. But I believe Tyrell Henry is the starter, and he got hurt. Maybe one of these guys. I don't remember who. I don't know enough about Wisconsin right now to know who the starter of their team is. But Danny O'Neal was the one that was just getting his behind. He was getting hammered, and that is a bad. Like his overall QB rating was 18.
Oh,
and he was good. 14 of 22. He had he didn't have a horrible completion rate, but they were dinks and dunks. He only had 120 yards. He had an interception, no touchdown. It was just
that'll do it.
Yeah, it was too bad. But my point, my point, not even close. My guess is, if this goes awry, we may be going into maybe the Illinois game, maybe under an interim. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not speculating that I know anything. I'm just seeing this and going, it's going to make a lot of people unhappy because they may win one of those next 6 games or 7 games, and that's it. They're already 2-2.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them to continue on this year.
Yeah, and I thought Luke Fickell was a Uh, I was a Luke Fickle fan
I like
of that
Luke
hire.
Fickell.
I was a fan of that hire. It really was a good hire in my mind when they made it. And I guess I just am looking at an article that says the Badgers AD backs team amid fire Fickle chants. So it didn't even take a whole day.
Yeah, I think they were chanting that in the stadium.
Yeah. Well, the what I assumed happened when they got booed at the half, that was the Wisconsin fans, and it probably would have been different had they played different, because I looked at it as Wisconsin fans saying, look, we don't appreciate the product you're putting out. We
Yeah,
expect better. We know you can do better. And then when they come out at the half or after the half and blow the doors off of Maryland, then they're happy with him,
right.
because like, look, you took the booing. Now we're going to give you a hug. We love you.
Yeah,
But
but
they
didn't do
didn't
that.
get any better. No.
They didn't do that.
Mm-mm. Nope, not at all. So I guess maybe he's got a shorter leash than we were even giving him there, Bowden.
Yeah, maybe. Not good. Not good for him. He'll find success sometime.
Yeah,
Eventually he will.
He'll recover.
Eventually he will.
And if not, he's got a good bank account.
Yeah,
Oh, that always seems to help a little.
definitely. Definitely. Okay. And then I just want to make a couple points on this Iowa Rutgers game before we head off. I just want to point out how competitive and great of a game this really was. That score was 38-28. It really didn't reflect the game, in all honesty, as an Iowa fan. Rutgers looked really good. Their defense was pretty good, but they couldn't. I mean, they stopped Iowa's offense a little bit. Iowa's offense looked way better than it has any other time this season, really. I mean, obviously UMass, it looked really good, but we've played 2 Power 5 schools this year, Iowa State and Rutgers. We looked a million times better than we did.
I was going to say, against
the
Iowa State game was not.
There was nothing.
That was not a good game for the Hawkeyes.
No, and our defense struggled against Rutgers. I won't lie; they didn't look overly impressive, especially the first half. First half, they did not look very good, but they recovered and they did what they could in the second half. They got their first turnover of the season with that interception in the second half that got batted as he was I don't know how Calicomanis. That's that how you say?
Calicomanis. Yes,
Calicomanis. That's Rutgers quarterback. He got hit as he was throwing it. It gets picked off by Iowa, which was love to see it. First turnover of the season, and that just kind of sealed the game for Rutgers there. Iowa goes down, scores. But Iowa's offense, I mean, what they proved to me this week was when the defense can't make a play, when the defense has a bad day, the offense can pick up for them and win a game, which they haven't been able to do in the past 5 years.
Well, hopefully their offense. I have no notes on this. I was calling a game when this game was played, so I have
It was on Friday.
Yeah, so I have no knowledge of really how that game went other than the box score, and it looks like it was very competitive until the fourth.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
that. And maybe that touchdown didn't come to make it a 10-point game, didn't come till late, but you know what, at the same point, it was a 10-point win, so at some point Rutgers, I like Greg Schiano. I
love Greg Schiano.
I liked him the first time he was there, and then he
never left,
and then went to Tampa and didn't really work out for him there, but I like what they do. The one thing about Rutgers, though, is they just seem to hit the middle of that schedule and just fall off the face of the earth
every
for a
year.
while. And then they come back with a couple of good performances near the end of the year. It's frustrating because you'd like to see them put a full season together.
Yeah, I'd love to see them win like 8 or 9 games.
Yeah, it'd be great to see them at least in contention. Not saying they make the playoff, just contention.
I like Greg Schiano. I want him to be successful. So I mean, I'm glad they didn't beat Iowa this week, but I'd like to see them put their games fully together in their schedule, like you said, and not just drop off them in the middle of the season after playing tough early on and then play tough to finish out.
Yep. Rutgers has a lot going on with their coaches, like their football coach and their men's basketball coach. Two really good dudes. I mean, I really enjoy them as coaches. It's unfortunate that they're not as successful, but it is kind of difficult being being Rutgers. I mean, you can't bring a lot. I mean, you can give them some money, but
Right.
They're working from a deficit almost, I think.
Yeah, they need to build their NIL funding, their collective.
Well, they got a couple of good basketball ones, but
they're more of a basketball school in my mind.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I like both of those guys. But yeah, right. Iowa needs to just consistently put up 27 to 30 points every game, and then win. I'll trust that they are a consistent offense and that their offense is better. They just need to do this more. That's the big thing to me is they need to extend this and do this more often rather than, hey, next week they're going to score 17 and lose 24 to 17.
Right. Which, it's
going
to be a tough one next week.
Who they got next week?
Indiana.
Oh, yeah, they've got IU. That's right. They're hosting them at least. So.
Yes. But hosting them makes it better. But
yes, I guess.
I'd rather have them at home. Rather have the fan base there. It's a tight, compact stadium. It gets really loud in there. There's no running away. I've been front row on the visitor sideline before. I mean, you're 2 feet, you're an arm's length away from the players, from their bench. You could just reach out and touch them if you wanted to. But they're really close.
You wouldn't be there to watch the rest of the game.
Right, exactly. You wouldn't do that. Maybe if you were a fan of that team and you're sitting on that sideline, or if you're an Iowa fan on the Iowa sideline, you'll be giving them high fives and stuff. But
if they offer first,
right? I mean, you could put your hand out there; they'll probably give you a high five. But yeah, they're not. You can't just go and just like start smacking their helmets there. Right, it's not okay.
Yeah, you'll be escorted out.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that is all the time we have for today.
Yeah, sorry I talked to you really late there on that one.
We took it a little longer than usual, but no complaints there. I hope everybody has a good week, and I look forward to you guys tuning back in for our next one on Friday morning. So this is Big Talk Pigskin signing off. Have a good day, everybody.